In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father had given me some advice that I've been turning over in my head ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that not everyone has had the advantages that you've had. Now, he didn't say any more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way, and I knew he meant a great deal more than that. Gatsby. The man who gives his name to this story came to represent everything for which I had an unaffected scorn. But if personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there really was something gorgeous about it. Some heightened sensitivity to the promises of life. He had an extraordinary gift for hope, and a romantic readiness such as I've never found in any other person. It's not likely I shall ever find again.
Oh, Nick, darling! I'm paralyzed with happiness.
Hello, Daisy.
Jordan, this is Nick Caraway, my cousin.
Second cousin, once removed.
He and Tom graduated Yale together.
Oh, did you play football as well?
No, Tom was the football hero.
Nick!
Tom! It's good to see you.
You find the place all right?
Oh, it's hard to miss.
Care for a drink?
No thanks, it's a little early for me.
Who needs a refresher?
Nick, I've been telling Jordan all about you.
Where do you stay?
Across the sound.
West Egg.
A little cottage I found.
Really?
What a strange community. There are estates next to me that must go for 12, 15,000 in the summer.
What are you paying?
80 a month.
Welcome to East Egg.
How long are you staying?
Until I make my fortune.
Oh, Tom will help you, won't you, darling?
I had stopped off in Chicago on the way out. At least half a dozen people sent their love.
Oh, do they miss me?
The whole town's desolate. All of the cars have their rear wheels painted black as a mourning wreath. And there's this long, persistent wail across the sound.
Oh, Tom, let's come back tomorrow. Do you want to see the baby?
I'd like to.
She's asleep now. She's 2 years old. Haven't you ever seen her?
Never.
Well, you ought to. She's beautiful.
What have you been doing these days, Nick?
I'm learning to be a bondman.
Who with?
Property trust?
Never heard of it.
Well, you will.
Got any money in bonds?
Everyone I know is doing it, making lots of money. After the war, well, the Midwest felt kind of dull to me, so I've come out east. My father's financed me for a year.
Well, I'm stiff. I feel like I've been lying on that sofa for as long as I can remember.
Well, don't look at me. I've been trying to get you to New York all afternoon.
This'll help.
It's prohibition.
Who cares?
Besides, I'm absolutely intrigued.
How you ever get anything done is beyond me.
I recognize you from somewhere.
You said you live across the sound in West Egg. I know somebody there.
I don't know
You must know Gatsby.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
He's got that huge mansion. It looks like an imitation of a French hotel.
The one with the 2 towers.
Throws huge parties.
I live right next door to him. Our lawns are practically
In
touched.
2 weeks, it'll be the longest day of the year. Do you ever wait for the longest day of the year and then miss it? I always wait for the longest day of the year and then miss it.
I want to plan something.
All right, what do we plan? What do people plan? Look, I heard it. You did it, Tom. I know you didn't mean to, but you did do it. That's what I get for marrying a bird of a man, a great big, hulking, physical specimen
I
of
hate
a-
them. Hulking. Even kidding.
Hulking, 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 hulking.
Have a drink, Nick.
All right.
Got a nice place here.
It's enormous. Some gardens are beautiful.
Belonged to Domain, the oil man. Come on, I'll show you around.
Don't take him away yet.
Come on, I'll show you the pony.
Please, Tom.
How long do you plan on staying out east?
If you're damn fool to go anywhere else.
This is a permanent move.
They hated France.
How long were you there?
About a year and a half, and then we followed the polo circuit.
Drifting endlessly, parties and yachts and hulking men hitting wooden balls with melons.
You made me feel uncivilized.
Civilization is going to pieces. I began to become a terrible pessimist about things, Nick. Have you read this book, Rise of the Colored Empires, by this man Goddard?
Why no?
It's a fine book, and everybody ought to read it. The idea is that if we don't look out, the white race will be utterly submerged. It's all scientific stuff. It's been proved.
Tom's getting very profound. He reads deep books with long words in them. What was that one word?
It is up to us, who are the dominant race, to watch out, or these other races will take control of them.
We gotta beat him down.
Excuse me.
I love to see you in my house, Nick. You remind me of a rose. Yes, a rose. An absolute rose. What do you think, Jordan? An absolute rose. Excuse me.
So what is it This Mr. Gatsby?
Quiet. I want to hear what happens.
Is something happening?
You mean you don't know? I thought everybody knew.
I don't.
Why? Tom's got some woman in New York.
Got some woman.
She might at least have the decency not to telephone him at home.
It couldn't be helped. I looked outdoors for just a minute, and it's very romantic outdoors. There's a bird on the lawn. A nightingale, yes, come over on Cunard and White Star Line, and he's singing away. It's so romantic, isn't it, Tom?
Very romantic. Before you leave, I gotta take you out of the stable. Excuse me.
Nick, we don't know each other very well, even if we are cousins. You didn't come to my wedding.
Well, I wasn't home from the war.
Oh, yes, that's right. I've forgotten. The war took so many young men away. I've had it bad, Nick. I'm pretty cynical about everything.
I suppose she talks and eats and everything?
Who?
Like your daughter.
Oh, Pammy. Do you know what I said when she was born? Would you like to hear? It'll tell you how I've gotten to feel about things. Well, Pammy was less than an hour old and Tom was God knows where. And I woke up out of the ether with an utterly abandoned feeling. I asked the nurse right away if it was a boy or a girl. She told me it was a girl. So I turned my head away and wept. All right, I said. I'm glad it's a girl. And I hope she'll grow up to be a fool. That's the best thing a woman can be in this world is a beautiful little fool. And I think everything's terrible anyhow. Everyone thinks so. The most advanced people. And I know it. I've been everywhere, done everything, seen everything, sophisticated. God, I'm so sophisticated.
10 o'clock, time for this good girl to go to bed.
Jordan's playing in the tournament tomorrow over at Westchester.
You're Jordan Baker, the golfer.
Good night. Wake me at 8, won't you?
If you'll get up.
I will. Good night, Mr. Caraway. See you at night.
Of course you will. In fact, I think I'll arrange a marriage. Come over often, Nick, and I'll sort of fling you together, lock you up accidentally in the linen closet, or push you out to sea in the boat, and all that sort of thing.
Good night. I haven't heard a word.
I knew I recognized her from somewhere. Tournaments at Palm Beach and Asheville.
She's a fine girl. They oughtn't let her run around the country.
Who oughtn't to?
Her family.
Her family's about 1 and 1,000 years old. Besides, Nick will take care of her, won't you?
Rich girls don't marry poor boys.
Nonsense! Jordan's going to spend lots of weekends here this summer, and I think the home influence would be good for her.
Is she from New York?
Louisville. Her beautiful white girlhood was passed together there. Beautiful white girlhood.
Daisy, did you give Nick here a little heart-to-heart while I was on the phone?
Did I? I can't seem to remember. I think we talked about the Nordic race. Isn't that right, Nick? It's sort of crept up on us, and the first thing you know...
Don't believe everything you hear, Nick.
I haven't heard a word. Well, good night, Tom. Daisy.
Good night, my sweet one, my dear sweet Nicky. Good night, good night.
Yes, Gatsby turned out all right in the end, but it's what preyed on Gatsby. What foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that's haunted me ever since, and haunts me still.
Come on, Nick. I want you to meet my girl. Wilson, how's business?
Can't complain. When are you gonna sell me that car?
Got my man working on it now.
Works pretty slow, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't. I really feel that way. I guess I could sell the car to somebody else.
I don't mean that, Mr. Buchanan. I just
Get
meant...
some chairs, why don't you, so somebody can sit down?
Oh, sure.
I tried to get you these things.
Myrtle, this is Nick Carroll. We went to Yale together.
How do you do?
Come on.
I want to see you.
So,
Get on the next train.
and what if I don't want to?
You want to?
What makes you so sure of that? You can just come in here and order somebody around?
Just get on the next train.
You get me that dog you promised me?
Get your whole brood.
You promise?
Well,
Well, in that case.
meet me at the apartment in an hour.
All I meant about that
We've
car...
got to get going. Just showing Nick here the town.
Yes, sir, Mr. Buchanan, but what about
I
that...
said I'll see about that car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Buchanan.
Awful place, isn't it?
It's terrible. Where are we?
Queens. Hard to believe anyone would want to live here. Does her good to get her away.
Doesn't her husband object?
Wilson. Why, he doesn't even know he's alive. He actually believes she goes to town to see her sister.
These fellows are cheap every time. All they care about is money. I had a woman up here last week to look at my feet when she gave me the bill. You thought she had my appendicitis out.
I love your dress. It looks adorable.
It's just a crazy old thing. I slip it on sometimes and I don't care what I look like.
But it looks wonderful. Doesn't she look wonderful?
She does look wonderful.
How do you like the apartment, Mr. Perry?
It's nice.
Tom got it for me, didn't you, Tom?
I'm tired of dancing. Drink with me, Nick.
I don't know, I should really be getting home to
There's
study.
plenty of time to make money. Drink up.
Myrtle, if Chester can only get you in that pose, I think you could make something of it. Couldn't you, Chester?
I'm in the artistic game.
Really?
He has photographed me 127 times.
129 times.
Come on, dance with me, Mr. Heroin.
Oh, if I could only change the light, get a hold of all the modeling of your pictures, that profile, and get a hold of all that back hair.
I don't think it's so much thinking
We need more to drink. Stop shaking your ass, Myrtle, and grab us some ice while you're at it.
I told that boy about the ice. These people, you have to keep after them all the time.
I've done some nice things on Long Island. 2 of them are framed downstairs.
Who what?
2 of my studies. One I call Montauk Point, the gold. The other I call Montauk Point, the sea.
Where the hell is that girl?
You lived out on Long Island too?
I live at West End.
Really?
Would we know your place?
No, it's just a small summer rental.
We were down at a party about a month ago.
A man named Gatsby's.
Do you know him?
I live right next door to him.
They say he's the nephew or cousin of Kaiser Wilhelm, or was it von Hindenburg? I'm scared of him. I hate to have him get anything on me.
I heard he once killed a man.
I don't think it's so much that. It's more like he was a German spy during the war. I heard all about the party from man. He grew up with him in Germany.
That's not right. He was in the American army during the war. You look at him sometimes when you think nobody's looking at him. I bet he killed a man.
They say he doesn't even live in that house, but secretly floats up and down the Long Island shore. Chester! I think you could do something with him.
Oh, stop it. You'll make me spill everything.
Neither one of them can stand the person they're married to.
Can't they?
Can't stand them. What I say is, why go on being with them if they can't stand them?
If I were them, I would get a divorce and get married to each other right away.
Doesn't she like Wilson either?
You try being married to a stupid, ambitionless bastard that smells like grease.
You see,
I heard they're moving out west as soon as they can.
it's really his wife that's taking them apart. She's Catholic and they don't believe in divorce.
Leave Daisy out of this.
Daisy's not Catholic.
And she really ought to get away from that husband of hers. They've been living over that garage for 11 years and Tom's first sweetie she's ever had.
It was on the two little seats facing each other that are always the ones left on the train. I was going to New York to see my sister. He had on a dress suit and patent leather shoes, and I couldn't keep my eyes off him. But every time he looked at me, I had to pretend to be looking at the advertisement over his head.
What are you doing?
What?
Get up.
Shut up, I'm telling a story. When we came to the station, he had his white shirt front pressed against my arm. And so I told him I'd have to call a policeman, but he knew I lied. When we got into the taxi, I didn't hardly know we were getting into a subway train. All I kept thinking over and over was, you can't live forever. You can't live forever.
That's enough, Myrtle.
Oh, the great man speaks.
That's enough booze for one afternoon.
Get your hands off me! And where's that dog you promised me? Miss McKee, I'm gonna give you this dress as soon as I'm through with it. I'm gonna make a list of all the things I've got to get. A massage, and a wave, and one of those cute little ashtrays where you touch a spring, and a wreath with a black silk bow for mother's skirt that'll last all summertime. And one of those dogs Tom promised me. I gotta write down a list so I don't forget all the
I really should get going.
No, stay!
Yes, stay.
Yes, we live downstairs, and you could see my portfolio.
No, thanks. I've been drunk just twice in my life, including tonight. I don't think Daisy would find us very...
Daisy! Everybody talks about her like she's a goddamn saint.
Shut up,
Don't
Myrtle.
tell me to shut up, I'll say anything I like.
I told you about using her name.
Daisy!
I mean it, Myrtle!
Come on, everyone, let's go.
Myrtle, let it go.
I'll say her name whenever I want to. Daisy! You bastard! You son of a bitch bastard!
Oddly, I begin to like New York. And all the while, there was music drifting from my neighbor's house. Across his blue garden, women and men, they would flock like moths amongst the whispers and the champagne and the stars. Until one Saturday morning, a chauffeur crossed my lawn to hand me an invitation. The honor would be Gatsby's, it said, if I'd attend his little party that night.
Your face is familiar. Were you in the 3rd Division during the war?
Why, yes. How did you... I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion.
I was in the 7th Infantry until June 1918. Do you miss it?
The war? Why, yes, I think I missed it so much that I came home restless. It made going back to the Midwest pretty dull.
I know what you mean. I doubt any of the people here know what it's like in the trenches.
It's not something you forget.
No, it's not. Where are you from?
St. Minneapolis.
I know them well. Say, old sport, I just bought one of those new hydroplanes and thought I'd try it out in the morning. Just along the shore near the Sound. Why don't you come with me?
What time?
Any time that suits you best.
Why, yes. Yes, I'd like that very much. By the way, Nick.
Getaway!
Miss Baker.
I thought you might be here. I remembered you lived next door. Having a good time?
Well, it's a very unusual party for me. I've been here for about an hour and I still haven't met the host. I live over there, and this man Gatsby, he sent over his chauffeur with an invitation.
I am Gatsby.
I beg your pardon, sir.
It's okay. I'm afraid I'm a terrible host.
I beg your pardon, but there's a call from Detroit.
Tell him I'll call him back, Mama.
That may not be such a good idea.
Well, if either of you need anything, just ask for it, if you'll excuse me. I said a small town, Meyer. If Detroit is his idea of a small town, he's no use to it.
I feel like such an idiot. I imagine Gatsby as this big, extravagant fag. What do you know about him?
He's just a man named Gatsby.
But where's he from, I mean? And what does he do?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Well, people don't just come out of nowhere and buy a palace on Long Island.
Well, Gatsby did.
He must have some sort of past.
Now you've started on the subject.
Everybody's talking about him.
Well, he told me once that he was an Oxford man, but I don't believe it.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't think he went there.
You know, I've heard the wildest rumors about him.
That he killed someone?
Yes.
That he was a German spy?
Yes.
That he owns an underground pipeline from Canada?
He does?
Anyhow, he throws large parties. And I like large parties. They're so intimate. So at parties there's no privacy. You having a good time?
I'm having a good time with you.
Dance with me. You know, Daisy's very taken with you. She doesn't stop talking about flinging us together.
And she'd be happy about tonight.
Are you in love with her?
Isn't everyone?
Yes. If I tell you a secret, do you promise to do something about it?
How do you mean?
Tom's woman in New York. She's at the first. One night, Santa Barbara, California, right after he and Daisy got married, Tom ran into a wagon on Ventura Road and ripped the front wheel off his car. The girl who was with him got into the papers too, because her arm was broken. She was one of the chambermaids at the Santa Barbara Hotel.
Why does she do it? Why does she put up with it?
Maybe you're the one that's meant to help her.
Miss Baker,
Yes?
Mr. Gatsby would like to speak with you, alone.
With me?
That's what he said.
Please, think what I just said and come and see me. Phone book, name is Snorny Howard, my aunt.
You know, she's a very famous person.
Yes, I do know.
And Mr. Gatsby, he's a fine fellow. Handsome to look at and a perfect gentleman.
Indeed.
You know, he's an Oxford man.
So I've
He went
heard.
to Oxford College in England. You know Oxford College.
I've heard of it.
It's one of the most famous colleges in the world.
How long have you known Mr. Gatsby?
Several years. I made the pleasure of his acquaintance just after the war. I knew I discovered a man of fine stock after I talked with him an hour. I said to myself, there's the type of man you'd like to take home and introduce to your mother and sister. I see you looking at my cufflinks.
Are they a type of ivory?
They're the finest specimens of human molds.
Oh, that's a very interesting idea.
Yeah. All depart from you two young gentlemen. You want to outstay my welcome?
There's no need to hurry, Meyer.
Please, you're very polite, but I belong to another generation. Enjoy. Discuss your sports, your young ladies, your... As for me, I won't impose myself on you any longer.
I hope I didn't say anything to offend him. We were talking about his cuff buttons.
He's quite the character around New York, a denizen of Broadway.
Who is he anyhow? An actor?
No.
A dentist?
Meyer Wolfsheim? No, he's a gambler. He's the man who rigged the World Series in 1980.
How did he do that?
He saw the opportunity.
Why isn't he in jail?
He's a smart man. Smart men are hard to get. Remember, we're going up in the hydroplane tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
I'll be there. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you earlier.
Don't mention it. Don't give it another thought. 9 o'clock.
Well, good night.
Good night, old boy.
Daisy! Daisy! Where the hell are you? What are you doing down here?
Looking at the party lights.
You know I get worried when you disappear like that.
Do you?
Of course I do. You know I do.
should go sometime. Dance again.
You don't want to hang around those people, they're vulgar.
I miss the parties.
I know you do, and we'll go again, I promise. Right now, Pammy needs you.
I'll be up in a minute.
I said Pammy needs you.
And I said, in a minute.
Fine. Fine, do as you like.
You mean like you?
Look, I don't know what's gotten in you lately. Never mind. Just come up before Pandy goes to bed.
It was so much nicer a long, long time ago when we had each other and the world about us was warm.
What a machine! Fantastic! Thrilling old sport! Thrilling! What do you think we go into town later?
Anything. I'm all yours today.
Say, old sport, what's your opinion of me? What? I said, what's your opinion of me?
Only just met.
Be frank, old sport.
Well, honestly, I've heard all sorts of rumors.
I'm going to tell you something about my life. I don't want you getting the wrong idea from all these stories you hear. This is the God's honest truth. I was born in the Middle West to some wealthy people, all dead now. I was brought up in America, but educated at Oxford, as my family has been for many years. It's a family tradition.
What part of the Middle West?
San Francisco.
I see.
My family all died, and I came into a good deal of money. And after that, I lived like a young Raja in all the capitals of Europe. Paris, Venice, Rome, collecting jewels, chiefly rubies, hunting big game and painting a little, things for myself only, and trying to forget something very sad that happened to me long ago. Then came the war, old sport, and I tried very hard to die, but I seemed to bear an enchanted life. I accepted a commission as first lieutenant when it began, in the Argonne Forest. You were there.
At St. Mahil Sahib.
This was near Sweet. I took 2 machine gun detachments so far forward that there was a half-mile gap on either side of us where the infantry couldn't advance. We stayed there 2 days and 2 nights, 130 men and 16 Lewis guns. When the infantry finally came through, they found the insignia of 3 German divisions among the piles of dead. I was promoted to be major, and every Allied government gave me a decoration. Even Montenegro. Little Montenegro on the Adriatic Sea. This is the one from Montenegro. See what it says?
Or Deity de Janeiro, Nicholas Rex.
Turn it over.
Major J. Gatsby for valor extraordinary.
Here's another thing I always carry. A souvenir of Oxford days. The man on the left is now Earl of Doncaster.
Then it's all true.
Of course.
I didn't mean it like that.
It's all right, old sport.
Why are you telling me all of this?
I'm going to make a big request of you today, and I didn't want you thinking I was just some nobody from nowhere.
You planned all of this.
I knew I could trust you. You see, I always find myself among strangers because I wander here and there, trying to forget that sad thing that happened to me long ago. You'll hear about it this afternoon.
At lunch?
Yes, but not with me. You'll be having lunch with Miss Baker.
You mean you're in love with Miss Baker?
No, old sport, I'm not. Miss Baker has kindly consented to inform you on the matter.
I don't understand. Why don't you just tell me yourself?
You see, it's a delicate matter, and I'd rather not get into it right now.
Tom, what are you doing up here?
I eat here all the time. He's furious you haven't been calling up.
Mr. Gatsby, this is Mr. Buchanan.
Sir? What are you doing so far uptown to eat?
I'm having lunch here with Mr. Gatsby and Miss Baker.
You behave yourself with her. We'll be up at the apartment later if you want to stop by and visit. Have a drink. If you'll excuse me, I have to meet a few people. Nice meeting you, sir.
He lives across the sound from you. He's married to my cousin Daisy.
I hope I haven't angered you with any of this business with Miss Baker.
Oh, it's not that. I'm just not a huge fan of mysteries.
It's nothing underhand, I promise. You don't make much money, do you?
No.
Well, I thought if you didn't make much, I run a sort of business on the side.
Hello, boys.
Ah, Miss Baker.
Hello, Jordan.
Nick, Jay, did I interrupt something?
No, no. Please, have a seat. If you'll both excuse me, I'll rejoin you later.
Does he always act like this?
He knows what he wants.
Well, it's very nice to see you even under such mysterious circumstances.
Not that mysterious, not really.
What's going on?
Did you know that Daisy and I grew up together?
She told me.
Daisy Faye, most popular girl in Louisville. We all envied her. She dressed in all white and had a little white roadster, and all day long the telephone rang in her house.
If you behave yourselves, I'll spare you each exactly 1 hour.
And excited young officers from Camp Taylor demanded the privilege of monopolizing her nights. Well, one day I'm walking by her house, this is 1917, and she's on the porch dancing with a lieutenant I'd never seen before. They were so engrossed in each other they didn't see me, and he was looking at her in that way that every young girl wants to be looked at. And because it all seemed so romantic to me, I've remembered the incident ever since. His name was Jay Gatsby.
Gatsby.
Why, Lieutenant Gatsby?
And I didn't lay eyes on him again for over 4 years. Even after I met him at one of his parties, I didn't realize it was the same man until the other night. Well, anyway, they became inseparable. Promises were made, and then he left for the war. Daisy changed after that. Became distraught, withdrawn. I don't know what happened, something to do with her family, but after the war was over, she just often married Tom Buchanan of Chicago. He arrived with an entourage, and more pomp and circumstance than Louisville had ever known before. The day before their wedding, he gave her a string of pearls, valued at $350,000. I was a bridesmaid. Well, half an hour before the bridal dinner, I walk into Daisy's room to find her as lovely as a June night in her flower dress.
Congratulate me, Jordan.
And drunk as a monkey. She had a bottle of champagne in one hand and a letter in the other.
Never had a drink before in my life, but oh, how I do enjoy it.
I was scared, I can tell you. I'd never seen a girl like that before.
You dearest, take him downstairs and give him back to whoever they belong to. Tell Daisy's changed her mind. Do you hear me? Daisy's changed her mind.
I didn't know what to do. I locked the door, I got her to a cold bath.
Dearest part of all. Do you hear me? The dearest part of all.
But she wouldn't let go of that letter. She took it to the tub with her and squeezed it into a wet ball and only let me leave it in a soap dish when she saw it was coming to pieces like snow. She didn't say another word. I gave her spirits of ammonia, I hooked her back up into her dress, and half an hour later we walked out of that room. The pearls around her neck, and the incident over.
What was in the letter?
It was from him.
Gatsby.
He was coming home from the war to marry her.
So why did
She heard the name Gatsby for the first time in years the night you first visited. Do you remember?
What a strange coincidence is here.
But it isn't a coincidence at all. Don't you see? Gatsby bought that house to be near Daisy, to be just across the bay from her.
Really?
Gatsby wants to know if one afternoon he'll invite Daisy over for lunch and then let him come over.
So, Gatsby's waited 5 years, bought a palace on Long Island just to come over to somebody's house to have a liaison?
All this time he's half expected her to wander into one of his parties some night, but she never has. That's why he gives them. He wants her to see his house, to see what he's created for her. And your house is right next door.
Incredible.
That's the way you do it.
Does Daisy even want to see him?
Daisy's not to know about it. Gatsby doesn't want her to know. You're just supposed to invite her over for tea. Alone, of course.
I don't know if I really feel comfortable.
Daisy, I'd like to have something in your life. Don't you think?
I suppose so. And what about you? What if I invited you to tea? Would you come?
Ask me.
Are you sure you have everything you need in the shape of tea?
It's all set.
Are you sure you're okay with this? I wouldn't want you doing anything.
It's fine. It's fine. Would you like anything while you wait?
No. No. It's raining.
I noticed.
I'm going home.
What?
It's raining. It's too late. Nobody's coming to tea.
It's just 2 to 4.
You don't understand, old sport. I can't wait all day.
See?
This is absolutely where you live. Oh, it's adorable, absolutely adorable. Are you in love with me? Is that why I had to come alone? Jay,
Hello, Daisy.
I'm glad to see you again.
We've met before.
We haven't met for many, many years.
5 years this November.
Jordan says you've been naughty with her.
Have I?
See, I'm the perfect matchmaker. Although I'm very angry with her, she left my car out in the rain with the top down, and it's ruined, absolutely ruined. And at first she lied about it, so you be careful with her, Nick. She's incurably dishonest.
Well, if you'll both excuse me.
Where are you going?
I'm going to fetch some cake and tea.
I'll come with you. Oh, God.
What's the matter?
This is a mistake. A terrible, terrible mistake.
You're just embarrassed. Daisy's embarrassed too.
She is?
Just as much as you are.
Does the suit look all right?
It's nice.
Oh, what'll I do? What'll I say?
Gatsby, you're acting like a little boy. Not only that, but you're being rude. She's sitting in there all alone. Go on.
I thought if we ever met again, it'd be when we were old and decrepit. You're as handsome as ever, Lieutenant Gatsby.
Would you like to sit?
Yes. Did you know I'd be here?
I arranged it. Look at this.
Are these all me?
They're newspaper clippings from the last 5 years.
Look, my debut, Chicago. Look at that silly hat. Even Europe.
He's a good polo player.
Yes, Tom has a knack for winning. I tried to wait, I really did.
Look at this.
Look at you, so handsome in your uniform. You never married?
No.
I'm so sorry for all the hurt I've caused you when we could have been so happy. I've missed you, Jay. I've missed you so much. I've never missed you as much as I do now.
Oh, hello, old sport.
It stopped raining.
Has it? What do you think of that, Daisy? It stopped raining.
I'm glad, Jay.
I'd like you and Daisy to come over to my house. I want to give her the tour.
Are you sure you want me to come?
Of course. My house looks well, doesn't it?
That huge place over there.
Notice how the whole front of it catches the light?
Oh, it's splendid, Jay.
It is splendid.
It took me 3 years to earn the money that bought it.
I thought you inherited your money.
I did.
Oh, I love it, but I don't see how you can live there all alone.
Well, you see, I always keep it full of interesting people. People who do interesting things, celebrated people. We have sunken baths and bedrooms in period style, marble swimming pools and jonquils.
Oh, my favorite.
Hundreds, thousands of jonquils everywhere.
Oh, Jay.
I even have a man in Europe who sends me clothes at the beginning of each season, spring and fall.
They're such beautiful shirts. It makes me sad because I've never seen such beautiful shirts. Do you think it's possible to reverse time? To just erase it as if it's never happened? Do you think that's possible, Jay? To just erase time and begin again? You said you'd come back for me from no matter where you are. And here you are, gleaming like silver. And I said I'd be waiting for you, remember? My hair was damp that night, and you, so handsome in your Brooks Brothers uniform, smelling of new goods. The garden smelling of wisteria and pine forests. And you told me you loved me, and I thought you were the sweetest person in the whole world. And music everywhere, filling the pine forest fragrant with our future. We were golden happy, weren't we? Golden happy. And you trusted me with the dearest heart of all of us, more than anyone in the world has ever seen. you'd like to kiss me anytime during the night, just let me know. Mention my name or present a green card. I'm giving out green tonight.
Are you having a good time?
Shay, we're here together in your garden. Your beautiful garden. Doesn't seem possible, does it? I can't believe it's possible. We have someone look it up in an encyclopedia to see if it's really true. Look it up under G. G for Gatsby. Where have you been?
Talking to those people over there.
She's common, but if you want to take down any more addresses, here's my little gold pencil.
Who is this Gatsby anyhow?
They say he owns some drugstores. A lot of drugstores.
You're right.
He built them up himself.
He really must have strained himself to pull this menagerie together.
Well, at least they accomplish things. They're more interesting than the people we see.
They're vulgar. Broadway riffraff. Can't believe I let you talk me into this. We're leaving. You're embarrassing us.
Let go of me!
I sailed.
I don't know who the hell you are or what's going on, but I'm gonna find out. getting the car.
Jay.
You know, if it weren't for the fog, we could see your house across the bay. There's a green light that burns at the end of your dock each night.
It burns for you, Jay. It's always burned for you.
Jay,
Just a moment, Maya. Do you mean it? Do you really love me?
Yes.
If that's all that matters, just give me some time to set things up. I'll be right back.
I'm going to leave Tom.
It's about time.
When?
As soon as it can be arranged. In fact, I just want to leave and not tell Tom anything. Do you think I'm making a mistake?
About this, there isn't something you can do overnight.
I know, but I love him.
Daisy! Daisy!
Gatsby, I wouldn't ask so much of her so soon. You can't repeat the past.
Can't repeat the past? Why, of course you can. And this time I'm going to fix everything just the way it was before.
Almost 5 years he'd waited for her. There must have been moments where Daisy stolen short of his dreams. Not by her own fault, but because of the colossal vitality of his illusion. It had gone beyond her, beyond him, beyond everything. The golden girl, the king's daughter, it was all an illusion. But no amount of fire or freshness can challenge what a man will store in his heart.
Nick, hurry up. Daisy's expecting us for lunch, and Gatsby's coming too.
Has he been acting a little unusual lately? I went over to his house to see if something was wrong, and I knocked on the door. And this man out of a cops and robbers picture opened it. And he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Is Gatsby home?" He said, "No." And then he slammed the door in my face.
Well, he's fired all the servants.
Why'd he do that?
So there won't be any gossip. Those are both Sean's relatives taking care of the place. Daisy comes and sees him almost every day in the afternoons.
That isn't very discreet.
So?
So she ought to be more careful, is all.
You really are moral, aren't you?
It's not that. I mean, what if Tom finds out?
Daisy drove over to Gatsby's last night, suitcases packed, ready to run off, and Gatsby wouldn't go.
So, in other words, he has her, and now he doesn't want her.
Of course he wants her. They love each other, but it has to be done right. Gatsby's looking for some sort of atonement, a renunciation of years lost.
But how can Daisy do that?
He wants her to tell Tom that she never loved him. She's promised to do it this afternoon. Don't miss the fun. I'll get the car.
I'll drive.
What?
You're a rotten driver.
I am not.
You almost killed that workman the other night.
What workman?
The one you hit with your fender. You ought to be more careful, or you oughtn't drive it out.
I am careful.
No, you're not.
Well, then other people are.
And what's that got to do with it?
Don't keep out of my way. It takes two to make an accident.
So by that rationale, suppose you met somebody as careless as yourself.
I hope I never do. I hate careless people. That's why I like you. It's certainly hot.
Where is Mr. Thomas Buchanan, the athlete?
Rumor has it he's on the telephone to his girl.
Mr. Gatsby. Good to see you again. Nick, Jordan.
Just a cold drink, please. You know I love you.
You forget that there's a lady present?
Then you kiss Nick too.
What a low, vulgar girl.
I don't care. I don't care anymore. Kiss him. I wanna see you kiss him.
When are you going to tell him?
Soon I promise. Oh, don't look so sad. You know what I want in the world is you. You and your precious love. Look, come quick. Do you see those pink clouds over there? I'd like to get you in one of them and push you around in it. Thank heaven something cold to drink. What shall we do this afternoon? The next and the next 30 years.
Well, don't be morbid. Life starts all over again. It gets crisp in the fall.
But it's so hot. Everything's so confused. Why don't we go to town? Who wants to go to town? You look so cool. Always so cool. You remind me of the man in the advertisement. You know, the man with all the shirts?
All right, you want to go to town? Let's go to town.
Are we just going to go like this?
You wanted to go.
It's too hot to fuss. Have it your way. Come on, Jordan.
I don't understand the idea of going to town. Women, they get these notions in their heads.
Shall we take anything to drink?
I'll grab some whiskey.
I can't say anything in his household, sport.
You know, I've realized she has a very indiscreet voice. It's like, it's full of,
Her voice is full of money.
that's it. Her voice is full of money.
Okay, we'll go to the plaza.
Hire 5 bathrooms and take cold baths and drink mint juleps.
Shall we take my car?
I would have expected a chauffeur.
I prefer to do my own driving.
Your standard?
Yes.
How about I drive your car and you take mine?
It takes some getting used to.
Sure I can manage.
And you may need to get some gasoline.
Need some gas, I'll stop at a drugstore. You can get anything at a drugstore these days. Come on, Daisy. I'll take you in Gatsby's circus wagon.
You take Nick and Jordan. We'll follow you in the coupe.
Did you see that?
See what?
You must think I'm dumb. Well, maybe I am. But I have a sort of second sight. It tells me what to do. I've made an investigation on this Gatsby.
And you found that he was an Oxford man.
Oxford, man. He wears a pink suit, for Christ's sake.
He did go to Oxford.
Oxford, New Mexico. Maybe. I'm stopping for gas. Let's have some gas, Wilson. What do you think we've stopped for? To admire the view?
I'm sick. I've been sick all day.
What's the matter?
I'm all run down.
I have to fill it myself.
I need money pretty bad, Mr. Buchanan, and I was wondering what you were going to do with your old car.
How do you like this one?
It's a nice yellow one.
Pretty fancy, eh? Ever seen anything this fancy before?
No, sir, Mr. Buchanan.
How would you like this one?
Big chance. No, but I could make some money off the other.
What's the need for money all of a sudden?
Myrtle and I want to go west.
She does.
Been talking about it for 10 years, and now she's going whether she wants to or not. I'm going to get her away.
Why is the woman staring at me?
What do I owe?
I've just been wised up to something funny these past few days. Yeah, wised up real good. That's why I'm trying to get away. That's why I need money.
What do I owe you?
I really need money, Mr. Buchanan.
What I owe you?
$1.20.
Keep the change.
I don't need to keep bothering
You can have the car.
I can.
Have someone bring it by tomorrow.
Smells sweet.
Put another window. There are 10 more. I guess we'd better tell one for an accident.
Quit complaining about the heat. Jesus, you make it 10 times worse by crabbing about.
You're the one who wanted to come to town, old sport.
Quite the expression of yours, isn't it?
What is?
Well, this old sport business. Where'd you pick that up?
If you're going to make personal remarks, I won't stay here a minute. Make us some mint juleps.
By the way, Gatsby, I understand you're an Oxford man.
Well, not exactly.
Oh, yes, I understand you went to Oxford.
Yes, I went there.
When was this?
I said I went there.
Yes, when?
It was in 1919. I only stayed 5 months, so I can't really call myself an Oxford man.
Yeah, right.
It was an opportunity they gave to some of the officers just after the armistice. We could go to any of the universities in England or France, and I chose Oxford.
Open up the whiskey, Tom, and I'll make you a mint julep. Then you won't seem so stupid to yourself.
I have one more question for Gatsby.
Go on.
What kind of a row are you trying to cause in my house?
He's not causing a row. You're causing a row. Have some self-control.
Self-control? I guess the latest thing is to sit around while Mr. Nobody from nowhere makes love to your wife. That's the idea, then you can count me out. Nowadays, people begin by sneering at family life and family institutions. So you know we'll have intermarriage between blacks and whites.
Good God, Tom.
We're all white here.
I know I'm not very popular. I don't throw big parties or invite every riffraff from Broadway and the picture shows. You have to make your house into quite the pigsty to have some friends around here.
We can talk about my house later when there are no ladies present. What I want to tell you...
Please, don't. Why don't we all go home? Let's all just go home.
That's a good idea. Come on, Tom. Nobody wants a drink.
I want to know what Gatsby has to say to me.
Your wife doesn't love you. She never loved you. She loves me.
You must be crazy.
She never loved you, do you hear? She only married you because she was tired of waiting for me. It was a terrible mistake, but in her heart, Daisy only ever loved me.
Why don't we just head back?
You're not going anywhere!
Yes, we are, Tom. Come on, Daisy.
It's time somebody finds told you exactly what you
Are you going to lecture me on character, Jordan? That's a laugh. Because your girlfriend here told you about the tournament at Athens. That she cheated to win. Great golf champion. What was it you wanted to say to me, Jordan?
Let's go, Daisy.
Sit down, Daisy!
Look here, Tom.
Stop yelling at her.
I want to know what's been going on.
What's been going on? Going on for the last 5 years and you didn't know.
I've been seeing this fellow for 5 years?
No, not seeing. We couldn't meet. But in her heart, Daisy only ever loved me.
I couldn't tell you about 5 years ago because I didn't know Daisy then. I'll be damned if you got within a mile of her unless you brought the groceries to the back door. The rest of that's a goddamn lie. Daisy loved me when she married me, and she loved me now.
No.
She doesn't. The issue is she gets these ideas in her head and doesn't know exactly what to think. It's more I love Daisy. Sure, I go off on a spree every now and again. But I always come back. I always come back, don't I, Daisy?
You're revolting. Do you know why we left Chicago? I'm surprised no one here told you about the story of that little spree of his, and Santa Barbara, and the Riviera.
None of that matters now. Just tell him the truth, that you never loved him and it's all wiped away forever.
How could I love him, possibly?
You never loved him.
I never loved him.
Not at Dover.
No.
When I carried you down from the punch bowl to make sure your feet were dry, Daisy?
Please don't. There, Jay. You want too much. I love you now. Isn't that enough? I can't help what's past. I did love Tom. But I loved you too.
You loved me too.
Even that's a lie. She didn't even know you were alive. Why, there are things between Daisy and I that you wouldn't understand. Things neither of us can ever forget.
I want to speak to Daisy alone. She's all excited now.
Even alone, I couldn't say I never loved Tom. It wouldn't be true.
Of course it wouldn't.
As if it mattered to you.
Of course it matters. I'm going to take better care of you from now on.
You're not going to take care of her ever again.
Really? And why is that?
Daisy's leaving.
Nonsense.
I am though.
She's not leaving! Not for a common swindler such as you who'd have to steal the ring you put on her finger.
Please, I can't stand this anymore. It's so hot. Why don't we just go home?
I'm going to take care of you.
Who are you, anyhow? of that bunch that hangs around Meyer Wolfsheim, that much I happen to know.
Let's go, Daisy.
I've made quite the investigation on you, Gatsby.
You can suit yourself about that, old sport.
I found out what your drugstores were.
What about them?
He and Meyer Wolfsheim bought up a lot of side street drugstores and sold grain alcohol over the counter. I picked you for a bootlegger from the moment I met you, and I wasn't far wrong.
It's prohibition. Nobody cares. Where do you get your booze from, old sport?
Stop calling me old sport! This drugstore business is just small change. You've got something bigger going on with Wolfsheim that everyone's afraid to tell me about. I'm gonna find out about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna find out about it. You can bet your ass about that!
Are you going to kill me, old sport? My car keys, please. If you'll excuse me.
Want any of this stuff, Nick? Jordan? Nick?
What?
Want any of this stuff?
No.
What's the matter with you?
I just realized today's my birthday. I'm 30. I'm 30 years old. I'm 30 years old, and before me stretched the menacing road of a new decade. It was around 10 o'clock by the time we got back in the coupe to head back to Long Island. Tom, he had been exulting and laughing, as if he'd won a football match. I learned that day, human sympathy has its limits. Jordan sat next to me, with her head on my shoulder. But I didn't know her anymore. 30. The promise of a decade of loneliness. A thinning list of single men to know. Thinning briefcase of enthusiasm. Thinning hair. So we drove on, toward death, through the cooling twilight.
You can fool me, but you can't fool God.
What are you doing, George?
His wife's man. That's what they keep saying. Think I don't hear it? His wife's man. No more, Myrtle, no more.
George, what are you doing with my clothes?
We're leaving. Day after tomorrow, soon as I sell the car.
You're crazy.
I found this yesterday, hidden in the bureau.
You got no right.
Think I'm stupid, Myrtle?
It's for my sister. It's for her dog.
Think I'm stupid because all I own is a garage?
No, George.
I got things figured out, Myrtle. I ain't stupid.
We never said.
Coming back with your face all busted up.
It ain't right what you're doing.
Something's not right, that's for sure.
Give me back my clothes. You've got no right. I hate you. I've hit every minute with you. What are you gonna do? Beat me, George? How are you gonna beat me?
I'm sorry, Myrtle. I didn't mean
Shut up! Your voice, it's like a slug crawling in the dirt. I should have left you a long time ago.
Please, Myrtle, believe me, I'm getting the money. I promise.
He's come back! Oh my God, he's come back! Wait!
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Thank God.
M-I-C-A.
No, H. M-I-C-H.
What's going on?
H-A.
B.
Listen to me!
Hey, what do you want, fella?
Cadden, that's what I want to know.
Auto hit her, instantly killed.
What?
She ran out in a road.
Instantly killed?
Son of a bitch didn't even stop his car.
There were two cars. One coming, one going. See?
Going where?
Which direction?
Hold on a minute here.
One going each way. Well, she ran out there waving her arms crazy like screaming, beat me! Throw me down and beat me, but I'm going! And the one coming from New York knocked right into her. Must have been going 30, 40 miles an hour.
What's your relation to them?
I own the diner up the road. It was a yellow car. Big yellow car. New.
You don't have to tell me what kind of car it is. I know what kind of car it is.
Calm down! Listening to me? The car I was driving earlier, it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine, do you hear? I just got back from New York. The car I was driving earlier wasn't mine. I borrowed it.
What's going on over here?
He says he knows the car that hit her. It was a yellow car.
And what color's your car?
There's a blue car, a coupe.
He's telling the truth. We pulled over when we saw something happen, so we stopped.
All right. Let's clear this area. Now, if I could have your name again correctly this time.
Goddamn coward didn't even stop his car.
Daisy, wait.
Let go of me. I need to get inside.
Everything's all right. Everything's going to be all right.
It's ruined, don't you see?
It's all my fault. None of this would have happened if I'd handled things right the first time, but now I'm taking care of it.
I'm so confused.
Do you believe that I love you? Daisy, look at me. Do you believe that I love you? What was said at the hotel doesn't mean anything. Tom was pressuring you, making you say things you didn't mean, upsetting you.
I'm not good for you.
You're the finest, loveliest, tenderest, most beautiful person I've ever known.
But what if he...
Nothing's going to happen. I want you to go inside. I'll wait out here, just to make sure he doesn't try anything. If he does, I want you to turn the light on and off.
He won't hurt me.
I don't trust him. I want to wait here.
How long will you wait?
All night if necessary. My whole life if you want.
Do you love me that much?
Yes.
But what do I say? I can't hide things. You know how I am over everything.
Tom knows you're upset. It's okay to be upset. Just don't let him talk you into anything. Don't say anything. Just give me time to set things up and then we'll go away like we planned.
Yes, that's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted.
Our love is all that matters. We'll go back to Louisville and get married and have the life that we were meant to have. You asked if we could erase time. The answer is yes. I'm erasing it right now. The past is erased forever, and now it's only you and me.
Oh God, he's watching.
Nothing's going to happen. Just go inside and call me in the morning. I'll wait for your call.
I should have dropped you in last night, Nick. There's nothing more we can do tonight. I could call you a cab. While you're waiting, you should come in. Have some supper. You or Jordan, if you like.
No thanks, but I'd appreciate that taxi.
Daisy's home. Well, good night, Nick.
Are you sure you won't come in, Nick?
No thanks.
It's only 9:30. May as well make the best of it.
Is it true?
What?
What Tom said, the scandal about you turning.
What's that got to do with anything?
They said you moved your ball from a bad lie. That's how you won.
People say all sorts of things when you're famous.
I read about it. The Cadden retracted his statement. Did you buy him off?
Nick, you're one of the few honest people I know. That's why I like you. Come on in.
Goodbye, Jordan.
Goodbye? Just like that? You're throwing me over?
I just need to
You're
get
throwing me
home.
over for a rumor?
I just need some time to think.
Fine! Be a coward! Run away. I didn't give a damn about you anyway, but hey, at least it was a new kind of experience. Do you remember that conversation we had earlier about driving a car?
What about
You
it?
said a bad driver's only safe until she met another bad driver. I guess I met one, didn't I? I mean, it was careless of me to make such a wrong guess. I thought you were different, Nick. I thought you were rather an honest, straightforward person. I thought it was your secret pride.
I'm 30, Jordan. I'm 5 years too old to lie to myself and call it honor.
Goodbye, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Jesus, what are you doing here?
Just standing here, old sport. Did you see any trouble on the road?
Yes.
Was she killed?
Yes.
I thought so. I told Daisy I thought so. It's better the shock come all at once. I got back to West Egg from a back road and left my car in the garage. Who was she anyhow?
Her name was Wilson. Her husband owns the garage. What the hell happened?
I tried to grab the wheel from Daisy, but by the time
Daisy was driving.
Yes, but of course I'll say I was.
I would have just assumed you would have been
You
driving.
see, when we left New York, Daisy was incredibly nervous and thought it would steady her to drive. This woman ran out in front of us as another car was coming the opposite direction. I think she thought she knew us. Thought she wanted to talk. At first, Daisy turned towards the other car, but soon lost her nerve. By the time my hand reached the wheel, I felt the shock. It must have killed her instantly.
It ripped her open, for Christ's sake.
I don't want to know.
Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you get some help?
I told Daisy to stop, but she couldn't. She stepped on it. Then I grabbed the emergency brake, and she fell into my lap and asked to be taken home.
You have to go to the police.
I can't do that.
Tell them it was an accident.
I'm going to fix everything.
But everyone saw the car. There were eyewitnesses. You can't hide a car like that. They'll trace it back to you, and they'll find out Daisy was driving.
I won't let that happen. And neither will you. I'm going to wait here till Daisy goes to bed.
It's my taxi. You'd better come home with me.
I want to wait for Daisy.
Gatsby.
Good night, old sport.
I don't understand you people.
You should drink a cup of coffee, George. Come on, it'll do you some good.
I have a way of finding out about that car. The old one who owns it. A couple months ago, she came back from the city. Her face bruised, her nose swollen. Oh my God, he killed her.
Who did?
I have a way of finding out.
This has been a stray to you, and you don't know what you're saying.
He murdered her.
It was an accident, George.
I'm one of these Justin fellows who thinks no harm to nobody. But when I get to know a thing, I know it. It was the man in that car. She ran out and tried to speak to him, and he wouldn't stop.
How could she have been like that?
She's a deep one.
Maybe you got some friend I could telephone?
I spoke to her. I told her, you may fool me, but you can't fool God. I took her to the window and said, God knows what you've been doing. Everything you've been doing. You may fool me, but you can't fool God. God sees everything.
I waited till around 4 in the morning, and then Daisy came to the window and shut the lights out.
You really need to get away for a couple of days, Gatsby, to Atlantic City or up to Montreal.
I can't do that.
Why won't you listen to me?
I owe you an apology.
I don't care about that.
I owe you an apology for some of the lies. James Gatz. That's really, or at least legally, my name. We're cousins, Nick. You and I. Two boys out of the Midwest come east to make their fortune. My parents were farm people up in North Dakota. Good people, honest, but poor. So I invented the sort of J. Gatsby that a 17-year-old is likely to invent and ran off to make my fortune. But then I met Davy. And of course I thought she'd throw me over. After all, what do I have to offer? Just some poor farm boy. But she didn't. Daisy was in love with me, is in love with me, and now I have her back, and this time things are going to be the way they should have been.
Thank you.
For what?
It's 12 minutes to my train. This will be the third one I've missed today. I really don't want to go to work. I'll call you up.
You know something funny? I haven't used the pool all summer.
I really wish you'd get away for a couple days, Gatsby.
I know, Nick. You're a good friend. I appreciate that. You think Daisy will call soon?
I suppose so.
After all, we did make promises to each other.
Indeed.
Well, goodbye. Goodbye, old sport.
Gatsby, they're a rotten crowd. You're worth the whole damn bunch of them put together. I remember the rest of that day and that night and the morning after as an endless barrage of newspapermen and policemen and photographers. Most of the stories about Gatsby were a nightmare. Eager, circumstantial, grotesque and untrue. Nobody else seemed to care. No one. Where were all of the party people now? I called Daisy to see how she was taking it, but her and Tom had left that afternoon, leaving no return address. I walked into the room where Gatsby lay, and I tried to reassure him. Just trust me, Gatsby, and I'll find somebody for you. Just trust me and I'll find somebody that cares.
I can't do it. I can't get mixed up in it.
You were his closest friend.
I raised him right out of the gutter, right out from nothing.
The funeral's this afternoon.
I'd like to come.
Then come.
When a man gets killed, I stay out of it. I don't get involved.
He'd want you there.
Mr. Carraway, let us learn to show our friendship for a man when he is alive, and not after he is dead.
The day of the funeral, nobody came. Daisy didn't send a message, not even a flower. It was a late October afternoon as I was walking on Fifth Avenue when I saw her and Tom again. As I slowed to not overtake them, he saw me.
Nick! Daisy, look, it's Nick. What's the matter? Check the shaking hands with me.
You know what I think of you.
You're crazy, Nick. You're crazy as hell.
What did you tell Wilson that night?
I told him the truth. He came to my house that night. He had his hand on the revolver in his pocket the whole time. He was crazy enough to kill me. What if I did tell him? Gatsby had it coming. He ran over Myrtle like you'd run over a dog. He didn't even stop his car.
You were always my favorite cousin, Nick.
You're careless people! You smash up things and creatures, and then you retreat back into your money, or your vast carelessness, or whatever it is that keeps you together. Then you let everyone else clean up the mess you've made. I I couldn't forgive any of them. After Gatsby's death, the East became haunted for me, distorted. It was time to go back home, where the blue smoke of brittle leaves stirs in the air, and the wind blows the laundry stiff on the line. But as I brooded on all of this, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. His dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He had come a long way to his blue garden and his failure of a house. But Gatsby believed in the green light and the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. For tomorrow we'll run faster and stretch our arms out further until one fine morning. And so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.